Today I'm making some old-fashioned maple fudge. I don't think any Christmas baking is complete without some fudge in it. So here we go. You're going to start off in a nice big saucepan. 3 cups of sugar. You're going to take 1 1/4 cups of milk, and you want it to be 2% or whole milk. And 1/4 cup of white corn syrup and 2 tablespoons of butter. All right, so here we have all our ingredients, and we're going to mix it together, and I have it on medium heat. So fudge can be very finicky, especially when you don't make it with condensed milk. I personally don't like condensed milk. I know most people do, but I don't. I don't like tasting it in the fudge, and I find the flavor comes through. I kind of like to taste the sweetness and not milky creaminess. Anyways, that's just me. So with this fudge, what you need to do is you need to stir it until it comes to a boil. You need to stir it non-stop. I find that you need to follow the recipe 100% or your fudge won't work. So have it on medium heat and stir consistently until it comes to a boil. Alright, so it's just started to boil, and now you do not stir. You're going to be tempted to, but don't stir it at all. We're going to let it boil now until it hits the soft ball candy stage. What we're going to do is take a cup of cold water and drip some of the syrup into it, and if we can then make it into a soft ball with our fingers, then we know it's done. So this is going to take a little while. I'd say between 5 and 10 minutes. I'm going to time mine, but don't worry, it's not going to happen right away. So just let it boil on medium heat and check with it every couple minutes. While that's boiling, you can get your pan ready. So you can take an 8x8 or 9x9. I find either's fine. And what I've started to do, which I just discovered, I don't know why it took me this long, but instead of putting butter on my pan, I sprayed it with that cooking spray and then put the wax paper in. And I think that it works better. Like, look how flat it is. Anyways, and I find the cleanup to be a lot easier because you're not trying to wipe butter off, just spray oil. So anyways, there's a little tip if you don't already know it. And yeah, we're still waiting for our mixture to continue to heat up. Okay, it's been almost 5 minutes, so we'll take a test. I don't think it's ready, but I thought I'd show you not ready and ready. So just take a little bit and pour it into your cup of cold water. There. And now you can see it on the bottom there. You're going to put your finger in it and see. I don't know if you can see, but it's just floating around. It's not really coming together. So it's not ready. So it's been 10 minutes and I did it again. And as you can see, I took this from the bottom of my cup. So I just took the pieces together and it formed a soft ball. So I know it's finished. I'm going to take it off the heat and do not stir still. Alright, I took it off the heat and it's still bubbling a little bit, but that will soon end. So now we let it cool. So we don't stir, we just let it cool, and I say it takes about 30 minutes for it to cool down to the right temperature. So set your clock. You don't want to touch it, and you want to make sure that it is 30 minutes before you touch it, because if you start to do the next step before it cools properly, then it won't work. So set your clock for 30 minutes and go have a coffee. Okay, it's almost been 30 minutes, so I thought I'd take this time to talk to you about the next step. So this next step is just as crucial as getting your fudge to boil to the soft ball stage. If you do not do that, this will not work. And if you do not stir it properly now, after 30 minutes, it will not work. So after it's been 30 minutes, you're going to take some maple extract and you're going to put in 2 teaspoons of this. If you want walnuts in here as well to make maple walnut fudge, go ahead. You can put in 1.5 cups of chopped walnuts. That's fine. So once you put that stuff in, you're going to take make sure also, that you have your pan ready to go and a spatula on the side. But to stir, you're going to want a good strong spoon. So stainless steel or wood. Do not use anything plastic, because it won't work with it. You need a good solid spoon. So you're going to start to stir this. And you are going to stir and you are going to stir. It will take a few minutes, if not 5 or more. Now, as you can see right now, I hope you can, the lighting's bad. It is glossy and it's a darker brown. Now you're going to stir and stir and stir. And what's going to happen eventually is that this is going to turn from glossy, darker brown to a dull, lighter brown to a tan. Now, when that starts to happen, when you start to see the coloring and the texture, consistency change, like you also find that as you're stirring it, it's starting to get thicker and more solid. When that happens, you need to right away put it in this pan. Now, if you do not wait for that stage and you just stir it a little bit and you put it in here, it's not going to set properly. And if you keep stirring, once you see that it's starting to look a little dull, a little lighter, it's starting to get a little thicker, if you keep stirring it, it's going to set in your pot. So it's a whole timing issue. That's why I'm not going to be recording while I do it, because I need to pay attention. So it's all about timing. Once you see it start to change, put it in your pan. Okay, here it is, all done. Spatula with me, but even that it's gone hard now after like 20 seconds, like it happens quick. So I put it in and I put a little bit of butter on my hands and I push it in, because you can't really use your spatula or your spoon. It just sticks to it. So when it's nice and soft, see if you can see that. Okay, it's just whatever's left in the pot or left on a spoon really thin. It gets hard and crystallized really quickly. So that is it. If you follow those steps, this should work. And it's delicious. It's really sweet and just the right amount of creaminess. Not overly creamy because it's old-fashioned, so it's a bit drier, but it's still soft and moist. I hope you like it, and I hope it turns out for you. Fingers crossed. Just be patient and try to do it in a time of your day that you're not distracted by your children, and it should work out.